running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to Quasar Markets Live. It's Thursday, November 20th, and the AI gods have spoken. NVIDIA just dropped another thermonuclear earnings report last night, and it's basically thrown a life raft to the entire stock market. Right now, we've got the NASDAQ up now almost 2%. S&P futures are slated to open up about 1.65. And even the old man in the group, the Dow, is up over 50 basis points. One earnings call from Jensen Huang, and suddenly the AI bubble talk got pushed off for at least one more day. NVIDIA up more than 5% in the pre-market, dragging the whole AI complex higher. BigBeat, did NVIDIA's report hit you the same way it hit the futures market, or are you seeing some things under the hood that traders maybe aren't paying attention to yet?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, and good morning, Howard. Look, it's very simple. I've said it. Blackwell chipsets are hot, hot, hot. I said this 6 months ago on Schwab Network. I said this on just about every network out there. And look, they were hot. They're sold out. The Blackwell chipsets are super hot. But why? Because they are the AI chipsets. So when I look at that next level of what we're investing in, right, is that what is it that they're trying to accomplish, right? They've told you what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to accomplish putting AI in everybody's hands. And in order to do that, you need the open AI, you need Perplexity, you need Microsoft and Google, who are investing heavily, and they got to buy heavily into three things: electricity or some kind of power surge. They got to actually have the software, and they got to have the chipsets. And NVIDIA is the pickaxe and the shovels, and they're winning on both levels. So congratulations.
Let's get to the scorecard. The EPS came in at $1.30 over the 126th Street expectation. Here's the big one: revenue $57 billion, year-over-year revenue growth about 62%. Quarter four revenue guidance right around $65 billion, which is about the midpoint. Guidance assumes zero revenue from China. Demand for Blackwell chips, like you said, is described as off the charts. Management talking about a $500 billion plus demand pipeline for accelerators, with AI capex projected around $520 billion next year, and maybe $700 billion in 2027. And Jensen did not dance around the elephant in the room. He opened up the call by basically saying, AI bubble. From where we sit, we see something very different. He also took a direct shot at the depreciation fears. CFO Colette Kress pointed out that the A100 GPUs shipped 6 years ago are still running at full utilization thanks to their CUDA software ecosystem. So if you're Michael Burry out there shorting AI on chip life arguments, NVIDIA just put your thesis on a treadmill.
Yeah, and I said, look, the AI bubble, I've talked about this. There was a bubble at 220, but there wasn't a bubble down here. That when the sell-off happened, I said, look, there's no more bubble now. It's the top is blown off, and we're okay. And that's why I went long on all of these things. And I had a feeling that was the case. But with the numbers, we're still not quite at 220. I mean, the stock's, it's not a $4 trillion company, even with all these sales. Put this in perspective: $51 billion does not equate $4 trillion. That's 4,000 billion, not 51 billion, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. There are, and options wise, there's a huge positive gamma set up right now around that 190, 196 zone.
That's where
so a lot of dealers are going to be forced to sell into strength and buy into weakness.
Correct.
So that could pin the stock in that range. If you don't know, it's where the strikes are right now. And the short sellers will have to cover towards 196. The longs will have to close or buy at 190. So we're sort of pinned into a spot there. Let's start at a high level, Steve. Is Jensen right? Are we underestimating the size and duration of the AI wave, or is this the greatest Jedi mind trick Wall Street has ever seen?
They are so they have no clue what AI is going to do to the world. It's going to change completely. Today, Howard, we 20 years ago, we looked at the internet. We had no idea how it was going to change our lives. You and I did, but the average person had no idea. They were happy just to get dial-up, and then they got to the point where the dial-up wasn't good enough. Then they had to have cable and DSL, and they had to have routers. And then, oh my God! And guess what? Cisco, Qualcomm, these companies were all the ones who built all those products, and they're still building those legacy products are still being built. The hardware side of it, IBM is still building those hardware sides. So no, they don't even have a clue what AI is about to do for the world. Quantum computing, all of these things. It's just it's just like the first pitch of the first inning for those of you who like baseball. We're not even started on this. And in being able to, if you remember correctly, back in the days, when you first got on the internet, it was cool because you got to see some pages, websites, right? You got to see, I got to see a company, right? But today we don't even think about that. Everything we do is on the internet. If the internet goes down for 5 minutes, my father goes crazy, right?
Exactly.
Look, right.
The whole world explodes, And Steve, if Nvidia is growing 62%, guiding for 65% without China, what does that say about hyperscaler spending over the next 12 to 18 months?
Without China, without Ukraine, without a lot of places that are needing this stuff, right? That are not focused on this right now. This is a world that will completely change. And I usually it's 10 years, every decade it's a big change, and we start to see that spread. This thing is moving faster. Quantum computing is moving faster than anybody thinks it is, and it's not something to get scared about. It's going to work with you, and you're going to work with it. But there's a lot of scared people out there that I just had a text a few minutes ago. Hey, when's the big one coming? What big one are you talking about? I tell people
down 30%. I mean, we're going to talk about a couple in a few minutes here.
Right.
We've
already did it. Right. Yeah.
It's played out. Some of this is played out, right? Like you said. So,
and I don't understand, but this morning, Bitcoin 92,400 the upside, and now down to 90,500. There are a lot of scared people.
Still no spot buyers. We'll get into that later in the show. It's all still perp futures, unfortunately. The good news there is the crypto equities moved up, so that's the first sign. So, the Bitcoin miners and IRN and all those all jumping up. Steve, we did see accounts receivable jump by several billion, quarter over quarter. Do you worry at all about channel stuffing, or is that the reality of a long lead time hardware and data center deployments?
A long time lead, obviously, because quite frankly, it's not easy to build these chips, right? And shipping and this isn't like building like a little TV Philco chip for your little black and white TV anymore, right? This is a big deal, and the Blackwell chipsets are hard to make. They're not easy. They're double wafered, but because of that, no, they're not as easy. So they're gonna have some stocking issues. But yeah, I mean, sales are great. I mean, sales are really good.
Yeah, can't argue there. Stephen, how important do you think that option gamma pin is today? Do you think we're going to be stuck, or do you think we see the animal spirits bust through it?
I think people are just scared. Look, NVIDIA, even people that like NVIDIA right now are still scared. Everybody's scared. The world is scared. And we need some clarity. We need the rhetoric to stop. Maybe the Epstein files have finally went away now, hopefully, and now we'll start to see a little bit more clarity in the markets. But there's still a lot of scared money out there. And look, y'all know how I feel about this. I love scared money. Scared money makes me money. Yesterday, I bought Bitcoin 89.4, right? And people were, we're going to 75,000. Ooh, we're not. Relax, people, relax. There are buyers out there. There are buyers for everything out there, because every sell that happens in the market, there's a buyer somewhere. There has to be but it's where the heavy buyers, it's where they're picking it up. So for those people who out there are just scared, go run your Chicken Little scheme somewhere else, because it ain't happening today.
There you go. I love it. And that's even without Mr. Flanagan. The glass is always half full man in the town. So I love it. Steve, from the AI golden child to the cybersecurity honor student who looks like still got grounded, Palo Alto Networks, they reported EPS that beat 93 cents versus 89. Revenue beat, or right about, came in on order. Revenue up 16% year over year. Announced a $3.35 billion acquisition of Chronosphere. Gave guidance for revenue between 2.57 and 2.59 billion, down 1.5%. So what are you thinking here?
Palo Alto has a couple of things that they need to work on. Look, when you're scared and every day you see something go down, the stocks, the internet goes down, you worry about cybersecurity, and Palo Alto is right there on the forefront of that. CrowdStrike was another one that had the same situation. And it shows just, when the tide goes out, who's swimming naked, as Buffett would say. And the same thing in security. And we've had a couple of issues in the last few months that have really, really showed that, hey, you call yourself cybersecurity people, but you made some mistakes. So this is not a time to make mistakes.
I'd also point out the difference here was not 60% revenue up year over year, 16.
Yeah.
So, being penalized probably for not having, NVIDIA, it's tough when the gorilla comes in and stomps on everybody, right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of follow-up they wanted to see here. Steve, what do you think about this Chronosphere and CyberArk at the same time worry about integration and balance sheet on the standpoint? Companies have been getting hit a lot in this merger and acquisition. We're fans of it, but the traders don't seem to be.
Well, I don't look at traders as the end-all be-all of understanding the intricacies of the mergers and acquisitions and why a company merges together, right? They look at it from the outside. The companies look at it from the inside. Hey, you got this, I've got this. Let's get together. Let's make a bigger company. And sometimes companies don't like that. Sometimes investors don't like that, and they don't get the bigger picture. They don't understand it. They're looking at it from the near-term future, and that's what's happening right now with these zero DTEs and these things. They're not getting a clear picture understanding. That's what Quasar Markets does. So I like this thing. If you can put two jail cells together, put them together, make one big jail for these bad guys and hackers. Great. Guess what? It's good. It's better for
I'm glad you led me into it, because my next question is, if you look across cybersecurity, CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Palo Alto, I'll let you throw Cloudflare in there if you want to. Who do you think's best set up to succeed in 2026?
CrowdStrike.
Start talking about next year, my friend.
CrowdStrike. I mean,
Okay.
CrowdStrike is the one that the bigger firms are going after now, and there's some changes, but I do like CrowdStrike. I think you saw very clearly when CrowdStrike went down just how many companies went down. So it is CrowdStrike. I think right behind that would be Palo Alto Networks, and then I think Zscaler. Zscaler's right in there. They're not, it's based
not
on
a huge differential for you in there. You sort of like them all. And I asked because, those that don't remember, Steve is the guy that before we started last year off, we asked about Netflix and he gave you where that was going. We asked about NVIDIA. He told you where that was going, and we could go through about a half dozen others. So over the next few weeks, make sure you're tuning in, everybody, because I will be hitting them up every day with questions about this and from the different sectors. Who are going to be the winners? Where do you want to have your money set up for next year? Because this year, let's face it, is already coming to an end quicker than we'd like to see. And Steve, we went from great to okay to not really. And I'm not even talking about crypto. Oracle's reality check, huh? Let's talk about the other side of the NVIDIA story, the AI play that is not exactly thriving. Oracle went from AI hero to show me story in record time. Back in September, its stock popped more than 30% in a single day. They revealed a $317 billion revenue backlog, most of it tied to OpenAI, and Wall Street said, give me as much as I can. Fast forward to today, they've given back 100% of those gains, Steve.
Don't bet against Larry Ellison. I'm just telling you right now. But you know what? They do have some issues. It is older stuff, and I don't. Look, I get it. The pop with Oracle.
It's all debt, right? With them, It's all about debt. They now hold the most corporate debt out of any of the major technology companies. And I think that's what's got people scared. I'm sort of with you. We talked about it before it made that 30% jump, and you and I both liked Oracle. We didn't like it after the 30% jump. So are you now back into where you do like it at this level?
No.
Okay. You think it's still got more of a pullback to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that Oracle money is moving into NVIDIA today, right? So, and it won't come out of NVIDIA for a while. So no, I look, we talk this a lot, right? The sheer amount of money on the sidelines is a lot, and they'll be looking for those companies that they're looking for alpha, and this could be one of those companies down the road, but I don't see it right now.
And do you think part of that is because it's too dangerous to be tied to one major customer, especially one like OpenAI with gigantic projected losses, who might not be able to pay bills? Although I don't see that as an issue, but
No, not an issue.
something that's still going
OpenAI.
to pivot a lot before it gets to where it goes.
I mean, look, I can tell you how much debt Amazon had back in the day. I can tell you how much debt Meta had back in the day. I can tell you how much debt Apple went bankrupt not once but twice. Look, this is not the case here in this situation. The debt is untenable. It's not like U.S. it's like U.S. Treasury debt, but it is debt. It's pretty high. But when you need their product, OpenAI products, they're going to pay their bills off. So don't worry about that. And the debt structuring around it, the banks that are around that are definitely lending to them because they're also the same companies that need that AI stuff too. So I don't think
a lot of these debt. I mean, the one Amazon just did is 40-year debt. I mean, it's pretty long dated out there. Even Michael Saylor's are all 4 or 5 years in the future.
I don't
from broader, and I'd have to ask you as a builder, Steve, is this though a warning shot about overbuilding data center capacity, or is this just Oracle based?
No, you got to build data. We're not even close to building the number of data centers we're going to need. We're going to need data centers just massive warehouses of data centers, just massive, because people don't want less information. They want more. They can't stand it. And that's what I've said in the past. The separation of the haves and the have-nots have been based on how much money you have in the bank. But in the future, it's going to be how much data you have. Like how much, I want to make a better decision. How do I don't want just the score of the baseball game. I want how the pitches were going, right? They want to know every single thing that goes on. And we will be, here's an interesting thing. Yesterday, I had to get new glasses. I'm getting older, believe it or not, Howard. And they offered me AI glasses.
Matt, I got the same offer, Steve. I might do it. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, when
Did
they
you get them?
measure your eyes, where you look and you read the most, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's make it much better. So I
actually, that's funny. We hadn't talked about that. I might actually get them. They're done by Oakley, which I like Oakley glasses.
Oakley has them.
And they're really made for sport. I might even get the more crazy ones, those like shields, because for me, it's more about when I go golfing and those type of things. So now I can cheat. Now I can cheat and get it to tell me how far the pin is away and all that kind of stuff. So I'm all excited.
No, but I mean, like they have these new AI glasses that are just that AI sees your glass and looks at your eyes, but they focus on your eyes, right? And they tell you follow a ball, and it tells you where the how to read better and where to increase the magnification. And I was like, wow. Put that in my system, and it works great.
That's awesome. That we want to see. So markets, we are about 10 minutes from the open here. Tick, as we said, has stayed fairly positive throughout all of the morning. Advanced decline nicely up at 3,000. The NASDAQ slated to open up now over 2% to the upside. Again, though, this isn't towards 637.01 all-time highs. We're talking 611 still. So, that pullback, we said, this recovery is the start, not the finish. S&P up 1.57%, again, looking to open up around 673, and Dow Jones up about 0.5 percentage point as we get ready.
But yesterday, Howard, you talked about Target, and Target was terrible. Let's talk about the big one today. How about Walmart? I mean, Walmart crushed it. I've been saying that. I think Walmart's way better than Target right now. I think that Sam's Club has been crushing Costco. And Walmart showed those numbers yesterday, and they did. But the question mark is, are people still buying, or are they pulling back? And I don't know the answer to that yet. I mean, I think that they're pulling back. My channel check says they're not selling up. They're not out there yet.
And not mine. And again, listening to these earnings reports, they talked about a good Christmas holiday season. So far, I think I'm seeing pullbacks across restaurants, experiences, events, travel, things like that. I think are being pulled back more so than the buying of Christmas presents. I think people want to hold on to that so far. And as you said, Walmart did report their earnings per share came in just about expectations. 179 billion in sales, revenue up 5.8% year over year. The big one for me, their e-commerce up 27%, and they raised full year sales and EPS guidance. Home Depot says the macro picture is still pressuring home improvement spending. Lowe's acknowledged affordability concerns, but said the U.S. homeowner is still in decent shape and spending. TJ Maxx and off-price retailers continue to benefit from consumers trading down. The big picture is, I think, Steve, the consumer is stretched but still spending. More value-oriented, more deal-focused. They all talked about buying, they're buying the deal items. And with official consumption data delayed or distorted, Walmart's report in particular has become sort of a shadow census for the U.S. consumer. What's your read on the consumer here, Steve? Are they bending or breaking? You seem to be leaning towards breaking, huh?
They're not breaking, but they aren't spending. They are spending on less things, right? They're going to the Dollar General store more, and they are going to Costco's and the Sam's Clubs. They are looking for the deals, and they, I just at the to go buy a coat the other day, and deals were everywhere to buy a coat in the wintertime. Wow, in the worst wintertime. Wow. That means you're in trouble, right? But it also means that, and I'm glad to see consumers a little more thrifty about their spending habits, right? That means that they're saving money. I was reading the other day in the Wall Street Journal about an issue where young people, right? And I just saw the numbers come out just 2 seconds ago. The average new home buyer is now the highest in history, the oldest in history. It's 59 and a half, right? So the young people are not buying homes, okay? So if they're not buying homes and they're being more thrifty about the clothing or personal items, what are they doing? Well, they're investing in the market, right? That's where their money is going.
That's a little not exactly, because you get mad because they're playing the market a little bit too much, and a lot of that zero DTEs and crypto perps, like you've spoken about. So we do want to point to that. Steve, I've got a different way to take you on this one. Is Walmart now a better real-time macro indicator than the BEA or the BLS, given all the shutdown distortions?
Best indicator still is, I think, today is McDonald's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which did pretty good reports, similar to what Walmart's saying. Again, people are coming in for those $8 meals. I've noticed lines way up at the drive-thrus as I drive by.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed the lines up. I've been trying to stay away personally. So not in them, but I've noticed the lines have been definitely bigger there. So we'll see if that goes. Steve, if rates head lower next year, who benefits most? Walmart type giants or home improvement names, or the more beaten down specialty retail? Again, I'm looking for where you're thinking about 2026.
Home Depot.
Okay.
Home Depot will do very well if rates come down because I'm just looking up again. I'm on the Bloomberg level here. Lumber prices are now again down another 3% here. So if you're looking to build in your home, I like this Home Depot sell-off. This is getting better and better for me. I'm liking this a lot, and there's a big freaking gap in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
a 10% gap. That's a 10% gap. And those that don't know, you usually fill 90 some odd percent, 93% of gap.
Got it. So, if you're looking for a longer term,
yeah. I mean, hell, I like Fly when it gapped down. I got like Home Depot, right?
That's what I'm saying. If you're risk averse a little bit and you like quality stocks that have been beaten up, and for good reason, they've been beaten up for good reason. But yeah, no, I like this play here. I do. I like this play a lot.
Steve, moving over into the side in between crypto and equities, Block had a great day yesterday. Our friend Mr. Dorsey, that we know well, definitely turning around the business. It looks like Block. What did they do? They held their first investor day since 2022, and they said that they now are looking at EPS well above Wall Street expectations by almost $1, about $15.8 billion in gross profit, a mid-teens annual growth rate, and $4 billion plus in adjusted cash flows. So they've got money, they've got a plan. Do you believe in the plan?
I mean, this is the guy that's from St. Louis, right? And he built Twitter, the Twitter that we know.
A lot of things, yeah.
A lot of things. So I am not going to bet against my boy, and I like this number. These numbers are good, and I like the turnaround plan, and I like what they're building and doing. So go get it, Mr. Dorsey.
Yeah, they framed 2025 as potentially the strongest year ever for incremental square volume. leaning into new customer growth and product innovation, especially in food and beverage and integrated payments. They're pushing more synergies between Square, Cash App, and Afterpay. They finally turned it around. How much weight do you put on those 2027, 2028 projections, though? Do you
Zero.
give any credence, or you think it's just talk?
I like the buyback, that's for sure. And that means he believes himself. But no, I don't. It's a little bit much for there. So no, I am turning my eyes here back to RCL here, Howard's. Everybody knows here, I went pretty big on RCL, and I am feeling pretty good about RCL today.
Absolutely, up about another 1.16%. Nice move to the upside. Tick still staying positive here. Advanced decline 31.94, highs of the day. We do see Qs have come a little bit off of the highs, but still up almost 2%. S&P up 1.54 as we get ready to open. And all of the Mag 8 are moving to the upside here, being led by NVIDIA, which is sort of capped out. And like we said, probably will be a little bit capped out at 196 due to the way the option market has been played with expiries today.
Yeah.
Apple up about 1% here. Another big winner today, Google, who had a nice win yesterday also. So up about 6.5%. Warren Buffett. Now here's the big one. Now I got to look because of yesterday.
Right.
Berkshire Hathaway up today on the fact, no, it is not again.
I've been saying it. Leave Berkshire Hathaway alone.
Warren did. It's moved up 10%, but Berkshire Hathaway's price has not moved. Flat on the day.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you got to start to say you want to dip a toe there. I'm real close to maybe getting a little Berkshire here today.
I'm just not. I'm just not.
You're not ready yet. If he's not buying, you're not buying. In other words, no buybacks, no Steve buying.
That's right. Well, Warren's done. I mean, Warren's got a few more weeks there, and God bless him, man. I've watched him my whole life. But he's definitely earned it. Okay, we are open here.
We are open here, and first move of the Qs is straight up we're up 2.04% again here, moving nicely to the upside. Bitcoin's first move to the upside also. And hey, for once, gold doing what it's supposed to. When all those are going up, gold moving to the downside slightly here, but still at 40.77. Still holding up pretty nicely here. Steve, 10-year still falling down. Well, not really, because while it's falling here in the cash market, it's above when you and I talked about it yesterday. So where are your thoughts on the Fed here? I thought I saw you put this morning into somewhere on social media that you
Fed they've got to cut. I mean, they don't have a choice now, right? Unemployment has ticked up. We know that people are losing jobs. Yeah, okay. Those numbers we saw were from September, and they redone August to the downside. So the Fed either needs to get a better narrative, or they got to cut rates. They don't have a choice this time. It's getting nutty now at this point to me.
Taking a look at some of the early morning winners so far. Applied Digital up 12.36% here this morning. I talked about some of the crypto mining companies, data center companies. Cipher Mining up 12%. CoreWeave, one of Steve's favorites, up 9.3%. Astera Labs, that's another name, NVIDIA name, 8.5%. IREN, IREN, up 8.14%. Steve, you looking at anything to short today, or are you just holding where you're at?
No, hell no, man. I think we're just in the first inning of this turnaround here. So I'm staying long, baby. I'm staying long.
I love it. I love it. Tesla up 3.39% here, back at 417. So nice move to the upside. If we look at the financials, again, all the major banks are moving up here today. JP Morgan up 1.29%. The real winners so far are the investment banks, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, up 2.5% almost each. Let's take a look at the chip sector. NVIDIA leading the way. It is pulled back a little bit, like we said, not unexpected for it to range today between that 196 and 190 area. Broadband now outperforming NVIDIA on the day, up 4.41%. Now it went positive. I was going to ask you, Steve, the interesting one, ASML was actually negative.
Just real quickly, Howard, I did sell half of my RCL here.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go, Steve.
Still long. So we're up 618 points now in the Dow. Nasy's up like 2.13%. You know, these are good numbers. This is strong, and the shorts are getting crushed right now. So Tesla now at 419. I've been saying anything under 400 has been a buy. Right.
Yeah, Steve, I used it yesterday in my room, that Walmart 100. I'm giving it the Disney rating too. Jumped up now about 103. So I liked Walmart yesterday because, you know, I've been on Costco, but we did a little bit of research and priced the PE earnings just much better on Walmart. And I think you get the same defensive protection through their Sam's Club.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was one I sort of went a little different on there.
Wow. Yeah, RCL there might just I might just take it all off there.
There you go. Nice move up by UNH here also today, up about 1.53. So we are seeing a nice move to the upside in general here. Bitcoin not participating though, and Ethereum back below 3,000. We talked about it earlier, Steve. I'm out
of my RCL now completely. That was nice run for those of you who are following me in the RCL over the last few days. We crushed that.
Nice move there. VIX back below 20, Steve, at 1939. So that's cooling off a little bit here today as data start to get released. Dow Jones up 1.32%. NASDAQ up 1.9%, and the SPY up 1.65%. Again, we'll point out these are still off of very lower levels, nowhere near their all-time highs that we set just a few months ago. We do see
NVIDIA pulling back. You know, NVIDIA only up 3.6% here, Hondo.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying is, again, you know, we're not, and that's going to be, again, all those zero DTEs. So the first part covered on the top side.
Oh, they're scared. I made a bunch of money. I can go drinking this week.
Yeah, so you'll see. I think you're going to see both sides of that play out here fairly quickly, and then we'll see which way we move from that. All the sectors of the S&P are moving to the upside today. So good to see that. Nat gas, Steve, down about 1.22%. Is this dip an opportunity to maybe get yourself a little UNG?
It's moved quite nicely over the last bit here. So not really.
And then the DXY has come down from the highs of 100.36, which is right about where Mr. Flanagan called it.
Dollar yen.
Frankly, he called 135, I believe. So right at it. Has pulled back down towards the 100 level here, but holding above the 200-day MA, so that keeps that solid. Bitcoin bouncing back a little bit. And we do see a little profit taking coming across Applied Digital here. As you mentioned, Steve, NVIDIA seeing a little bit, although now bouncing back up above 4%. So we're going to see a battle most of the day. One that is bouncing back too, Palo Alto, we talked about in the open, up only down now about 75 basis points and making a move back to the upside. As we mentioned, they'd had decent earnings. So it wasn't based on that. Walmart now up 3.4%, 104. So nice jump up from Walmart with their earnings. Most of the early morning laggards have actually reversed. The only thing I still see down is Trip.com's down about 1.58%. And Torm is down about 1.4. The rest of them moving to the upside.
Tick up 325. I mean, we're still tick up 400 here.
It's still moving up. I mean, not much in the names that we follow. Mealy is down a little bit. Micron actually just went negative there. That's a little strange. That one's down a little bit. Constellation Brands down a little bit. So there's a few names that are still down slightly, but not much. This is a lot of green across the day today. After, you know, we did see 5 out of 6 straight down days. So this reversal, you know, we see some of these good reversals here on things like that. Still holding up its gains across most of the markets here. So I'm loving what we're seeing so far. Advanced decline now 57.13. So we're seeing breadth where we weren't seeing breadth, right, Steve? The other bounces we had seen over the last few weeks when you had been a little bit more bearish had been, quite honestly, with no breadth, very narrow amount of companies moving us to the upside. Today we are seeing much better breadth in the market.
Yeah, Palantir up 5% here. I think Palantir could be shorted here. And I like Palantir, everybody knows that.
Seeing if anything else is moving. TerraWolf up 10% now, another data center Bitcoin mining company. Again, they seem to be leading the way today. Part of that is, again, they were really beaten down over the last several weeks. So
CoreWeave's up 10% here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am going to short that now.
Steve is shorting CoreWeave, CRWV here. Berkshire getting some love now, up 76 basis points here. Campbell Soup Company down about 45 basis points. So some of the defensive names are getting hit a little bit here today. Micron's gone negative on the day. So has ST Microelectronics. So a couple of the larger chip companies starting to go negative here now. NVIDIA still up 3.8%, but well off of its highs of the day. If we look at the tick, it's coming back down towards neutral here, Steve. So we are seeing the algos definitely liked what they were seeing to start off.
I'm selling even more shorts here on CoreWeave here, Howard. I'm pretty heavy short here on CoreWeave. Yeah, there we go.
Trying to move to the downside here for you, Steve. Dow Jones still up 1.3%. The SPY up 1.7%. Q's just broke below 2% up. And then the small caps, the Russell 2000 is also up 1.92%.
Oh, wow.
We do see the fear and volatility index moving to the downside about 18% here today. And gold now starting to catch a little bit of a bid back above 40.75. WTI still pegged under 60, still unable, even on a green day, to move back by it. So oil's still fairly inexpensive. I haven't looked at rates here yet. 10-year is not really moving down a little bit still since the economic data came out. So since we've seen the 830, first sort of trickles of some government data come in, the older job data, that does have the 10-year moving a little bit down, which, again, we've been yelling for the Fed to cut for months.
Or we pop it a little bit there. It's all right.
Netflix just went negative on the day here. Nice move by Meta to the upside, also 2.4%. Google 3%.
Oh,
so we are seeing some nice moves, but we're sort of hitting resistance here. And that's a little early, 10 minutes into the day. Usually, we see that first move go for about 20 minutes in whichever direction. So that's a little concerning to me.
I'm now out of my CoreWeave. They just lifted me up. So
SanDisk here down about 3.5% here today. So we are seeing that pull back after it hit all-time highs after earnings last week. So again, some of those, Steve mentioned Palantir up 4.24%, but pulling back off of the highs. Another name closely tied to NVIDIA is the Nebius Group. They are up about 6% here this morning also.
Oh, very nice.
Guess we're going back to space today, Steve, and intuitive.
Oh, wow, they're CoreWeave now. CoreWeave just dumping now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Carlo, I totally agree with that. Oh, look at CoreWeave now. Oh, wow. I got a little too britches fast there, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, CoreWeave's getting slaughtered now. Oh my.
Yeah, it got well above its skis there. They've got other issues.
Let's hope you're listening out there to me. You killed it on this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
You shorted when Steve said.
Look at that thing. Oh my goodness, I missed that one.
Bitcoin back below 91, Steve. So
thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I mean, no one likes it less than me, but until we get these perps, make 0DTs look like nothing right now.
Yeah, agreed.
Get them cleared out.
How about dollar yen, man? 157.62. I'm ready to go to Japan, bro. That's high. That's a lot of anime.
A lot of sushi and sake for you over there.
That's a lot of sushi and sake. Yeah, look at that CoreWeave pop. I had a feeling that was kind of where we were at. 91,000 again on Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's just a lot of choppiness across crypto side.
Now I just need to see my Disney to come up now, and I think I'll be a happy camper here.
VIX is picking up a little bit here, so people starting to get a little bit more skittish. Q is still up 2% though, but it seems to be stalling out at that area. Nvidia back up to 194.20, leading the way. Tesla having a nice little day here, 422. If you listen to Steve, you're up 22. All is a share there.
23 now. Oh, wow. Okay, CoreWeave. Hello, CoreWeave. Goodbye. See you later. Wow. Dang it. I was very heavy, too.
Yeah. It's coming back down towards that 75 area.
Woof. Look at that selling. It was up 10%. Now it's only up 5%.
Yeah.
Dang.
Someone covered their shorts, and now somebody else is selling. And yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Jensen for getting the market going. Now we got to keep it going, though. Seeing most of these things are up. Applied Digital now, again, another one that was up like 10%, now only up 6%. So watch out. Take profit if one of some things that you own jumped up today. Don't be afraid to book some profits.
Yeah, just people just can't keep up, can they? They just want to sell, don't they?
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on here across the markets. Let's look at the pumpers here. Exact Science Corp, big run to the upside of 17% for pulling off of its highs. Wow, that's a huge jump to the upside.
Fed's bar says that AI is not yet translating into productivity gains. I mean, okay. But I mean, it's just AI. I don't
know. Every company talks about it in their earnings reports that it does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Walmart up 5% here nicely, 105.78 now. So Walmart, nice move to the upside.
And I've said this several times on the show. I like Walmart. I think Walmart did well.
Five Below up 5%. So the lower end retailer getting some love today.
Look at that bounce on CoreWeave, though. I like that bounce. 91,000 again on Bitcoin. That might have been the selling that we needed to see in pushing it back up here. Barr says that stock market is influencing spending of wealthier consumers. Oh, so the stock market is down, so the wealthier community. Give me a break.
What does that mean? Yeah, I don't get where they're going there. Okay, everybody, we are 15 minutes into the open market, still moving to the upside. Q's just hit a new high here, 612.47. Same thing with the S&P at 674.54 here, moving to the upside. So we still see upside moves across the market here after it took that quick pause at about 940. We do see things starting to move back to the upside. Gold at 40.92, moving back up to that 4,100 level. Steve Silver at 51.26. Bitcoin trying to regain 91K, but struggling to do so. And the same thing, Ethereum trying to get back above 3,000 here.
I am going to take some of my Disney off a bit here and let the rest of it run. I just seem to be a bit heavy on these names, and it's yeah, just gonna take a little bit off. Not much, just a little off there. Yeah, it was a good move.
Google up 3.29% here this morning. Intel up 3.25 also. Nice moves to the upside. Steve, we didn't talk about it earlier. Any comments on the Ukraine secret peace plan here? Reports of a U.S.-Russia 28-point proposal sparking some global tension here.
Well, I mean, the interesting there is that Trump told Zelensky that he has to cede some land to Russia. And I don't think that they want to do that, right? I think Russia's having a really hard time seceding any kind of land. They feel like they fought for that land. But look, if it creates some peace, you know, I don't know. I can't tell Ukraine
it's a tough one. The reported contours say Ukraine, like you said, would concede significant parts of the Donbass region in some form. Ukraine would dramatically cut the size of its military by as much as 50% in some versions. Certain categories of weapons would be restricted or eliminated. In one version, Russia could effectively administer territory it doesn't legally own, paying rent while still controlling it on the ground. Ukrainian officials say they've gotten signals about proposals, but weren't involved in any of it, you know? Seems a little weird.
Hence why they call it a secret.
Yeah. And the EU's foreign policy chief said any workable plan has to include Ukrainians and Europeans at the table. Also, Zelensky, for his part, says only the U.S. and specifically Trump has the power to actually force a real end to the war, but Ukraine doesn't sound eager to sign away territory after all of this.
This Apple move is kind of nice here. This Apple move is really, really good.
I'm going to move to the upside here.
Now, there are three tops. If you pull up a 1 hour chart, there are roughly three tops around 276, 270, 694. And of course, the big pop there was 264. So interesting there.
Yeah, the green zone you see above you, key resistance here between.
But that's pop here is really nice. Yeah,
277. So that would be, if you're thinking about shorting Apple on a quick little play, that would be the zone to do it when it hits that green zone right there.
Part of me just wants to short Tesla right here.
You are the Tesla short. Let's see what it looks like on my 1 hour. Yeah, it's right at same thing. Although more, I'd wait for it to hit 428. If you hit 428, that's the go ahead. Last time I made this run up to this, on Monday, it came all the way back down to 395. So can't argue with your logic there for sure, BigBeat.
I am now short Tesla.
On the short-term chart here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll take that money and run. Why not?
There it goes.
I have not done it yet. I'm gonna let it run a bit.
Okay. I do see some folks feeling that the sellers are trying to suck the buyers in right now, so be a little bit wary here. You know, Steve going short would give you that sort of same advice also. Let's see what we get, but I think you could see this market turn over here.
Yeah.
Got to be wary here. It's made a nice run, but you know, everything in the economy didn't just get fixed, as you put it on social
Right.
media earlier, Steve, right?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think you did that about 3:30 this morning if I saw you were up.
Yeah.
The economy still stinks. I think was your exact words.
The
So,
economist.
keep that in mind. Nvidia can do a lot, but it can't save everything, even as Jensen tries his best.
And God bless Jensen for it, right? I mean,
Oh
you know,
yeah, man. I love how he came out and said AI bubble, not where I sit.
Fed's
That
bar
one.
says they need to support the labor market, but return inflation to 2%. I mean, stop it, dude.
I
Oh,
did see we didn't talk about it in the open, Verizon laying off 13,000 folks here today. The job numbers are going to be the big thing. And the fact that they're not coming out till after the Fed comes has everybody that owns a tinfoil hat, saying they must be really bad. And as you pointed out, the news that came today was from August, right?
yeah.
I mean, if we didn't know it, if we don't already know what happened in August, there.
All right, I'm still shorting more here now on Tesla here.
Man, Micron really tanking here. I do think this one's one that wants to try to pull back to that 200 here. I think you got about 10% downside here on Micron.
Ooh.
I do think that it is looking very similar to what we saw with the Palantirs, with the, all those other things where it just shot up too much. All the other ones pulled back to their 50-day, and pretty much most of them back to the bottom of that linear regression. Nvidia trying to break. If it can break that 196, let's see what it does. It's trying.
Tesla
Love
pushing
it.
up here a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna come back down. There we go. Just a little too high for me. But Qs are pushing up. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Take us back to positive, advanced decline, holding up pretty well towards that 6,000 level, 57.86. So again, breath in the market's what has me a little bit happier. Dow Jones up 1.3, S&P up 1.83%, moving back to highs of the day. Qs are setting highs of the day here as we move. So we're seeing some rotation maybe out of some of the names that already took off, but they're rotating right back into other tech names. Nvidia back at 195, trying to move to the upside. Now we see broadband, like I said, really.
I mean, Nasdaq's up 560 points, man.
Yep. Bitcoin back above 91K. Happy to see that. Happy to see that VIX back below 20, though, is helping a little bit. Gold unable to break quickly above that 4,100, tried to, got rejected right at it. So we are seeing some sellers at key levels here across all the different sort of sectors. All of the different sectors of the S&P are still in the green here, led by XLK, which is technology, up 2.47%. But we see a nice run by consumer discretionary with all those good retail names with their earnings today. It has that up 1.7%. Rates are staying pretty neutral now since the cash open at 4.11 on the 10-year. So they're not really giving us a good direction one way or the other. DXY has regained 100 here nicely this morning. So still moving to the upside there. Bitcoin, as I said, struggling at 91. Ethereum did get the 3,000 handle back. Oil unable to break above 60 here for the WTI. From our pre-market movers, as we said, CoreWeave are now up 7%. So we got a little support in there, Steve.
Got a little bit, yeah. But I took my money and ran.
Yep, absolutely. And then NVIDIA leading the way up 4.62%. But that 196, where we talked about the options are set up, is definitely causing that gamma squeeze back to the downside here. So going to be a fight between the institutions and their options and retail with their bullishness here today, Steve, huh?
Yeah.
That hits the 10 o'clock hour for us. Steve, what are the last words for the day?
You know what? The world's not falling apart just yet.
I like it. From Quasar Markets Live, everybody, have a great trading day. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and